911. We begin on January 31st, 1989, at Durham High School in North Carolina, just before school was about to start.
We had been in the process of remodeling the Math Science building. This was the very first day that we had relocated back to the Math Science building.
Durham High School Principal Dr. Barbara Ellis and her staff were in a long-range planning meeting.
And the former teachers along with us. Sodium borate, half pound.
Sodium borate, half pound.
In the chem lab, construction workers had dumped all the chemicals together in trash cans. Chemistry teacher s01e Shatila asked Matt Cook and 4 other honor students to help him put things away.
These chemicals were not in good condition. Some of them did not have the tops, some of them didn't have the labels, and we didn't exactly all know what we were dealing with. There was a lot of corrosion everywhere, and so everything needed to be washed and cleaned again. Mr. Shatila was telling us, please be careful, because they're in really bad shape and they look like they were really, really unsafe.
Iron wire, 1/4 pound.
Iron wire, 1/4 pound. Lead acetate, 1 pound.
Ammonium chloride, 100 grams.
He didn't give us any sign. He just goes, oh no, and jumped down off the counter and grabbed the vial and ran out of the classroom. We just thought it was a joke because it was smoking. Nobody really understood what happened.
But s01e Shatila knew that the smoking beaker contained sodium metal, a highly volatile substance that can react violently when put in contact with air or water. He ran to get the beaker outside before it exploded.
All right, class, today we're going to talk about the cell.
By then, classes were in session throughout the building. Hundreds of students and teachers were at risk. When we continue.
They said, I'm blind. I was afraid that Mr. Shatila would not be able to see, but I didn't want him to think that.
Biology teacher Mary Young was the first to respond to the explosion.
He said, I'm blind. And at that particular time, I put my arms around him, guided him out, and I kept saying to him, no, you're not. I led him on back to the back of my classroom and held his head over the eye wash.
No one knew quite what had happened, but Mary Young's student ran to the principal's office to get help.
What I could see of his eyes, they didn't appear to be the right color. I was afraid that Mr. Shatila would not be able to see, but I didn't want him to think that.
Emergency?
The call came into 911 at 8:31 a.m.
Can you tell me what's wrong, please? It was a secretary. She sounded confused, anxious, and frustrated. It was obvious that the person that called was getting secondhand information and could not give any further help.
Charlie, Rescue 2.
I immediately dispatched Rescue 2.
All of you, let's go. Let's evacuate.
Toxic fumes had filled the front entrance area of the Math Science building.
Several minutes after the explosion took place, some of the teachers on the first floor of the Science Math building saw the vapors and the fumes, and they immediately started an evacuation out the back door, which took considerable time.
Oh, they're vacant the building, yeah.
I was trying to flush until the paramedics arrived. He never lost consciousness. You know, he was frustrated, crying, and frightened, and I was too.
When we were evacuated, everyone was taken out to the football field, and people were playing around, you know, because it was just like another fire drill. So it wasn't a lot of chaos. It was just people were talking and everything. When the ambulance drove up, silence covered the field. I wanted to know what was going on.
5 minutes after the call came in, paramedic Robert Lucas and his partner arrived at the scene.
Tell me what happened. There was just an explosion. Do you have any idea what kind of chemical it was?
I don't know. It's gonna be okay.
What happened?
Nobody was able to tell us exactly what the chemicals were or exactly what had happened. So we had to assume that it was some type of an acid or an alkali and go ahead and remove the patient's clothing to keep any chemicals that were on his clothes at the time from continuing burning into his skin and his chest and back area.
Can you see us at all?
The patient's eyes were bloodshot and had a gray appearance when we first opened the eyelids and started the irrigation, but it had a crinkled appearance to it. It looked like a wadded up piece of saran wrap.
Somebody get that box for us.
There just wasn't much that could be done for him. The only thing we could do was continue to irrigate and save what was left, but I really didn't believe that he'd ever see again.
I know it hurts. I know it hurts.
I was frightened when I thought about what could possibly have happened. If he had panicked and the vial had exploded in that laboratory, we would have had a chain reaction that would have been tremendous. And it's no doubt that the children who were with him, as well as Mr. Chatilla, would have possibly lost their lives.
All I wanted to say was, thank you, Mr. Chatilla, you know, for saving our lives, you know. So everybody it was a really emotional time.
Come every day.
Less than a year later, Surrey Shatila's sight has almost returned to normal. His own quick thinking may have saved many lives, but it was the prompt action of his fellow teacher, Mary Young, that saved his eyesight.
The one thing I learned after this accident is how many people come forward and how many people are so friendly and so helpful to me. I never estimated that I have so many friends who are inquisitive about my welfare and about my safety. That is the greatest pleasure.
It indeed takes a very special person to place the lives of others before your very own. And that's what happened on January 31st. Mr. Chatilla never once thought about himself. The only thing that he thought about was the safety and welfare of his students and his colleagues. And for that, we will always be grateful.
Next.
I was really scared because she was unresponsive and she wasn't breathing. She was almost dead.
Ada Evans suffers from chronic heart disease. When she was finally put on the list for a heart transplant, her doctors were concerned that she would suffer a fatal heart attack before they could help her. So they turned to an innovative medical technology to try and keep her alive long enough to get a new heart.
She just have a lot of courage. And whenever she hurting, you ask her how she feeling, she said fine. And you know she's hurting, but she still say, I'm feeling fine.
Noodles? All right.
She asked me if I would fix her something to eat. I asked her what she wants. She said, some Roman noodles. And I guess it was the Lord that brought me in here. I don't know what I was coming for. I just came in. And I heard this little noise behind me, and I looked around. Her eyes were rolled back and her mouth wide open.
Hold on, sweetheart.
For the second time in a month, Ada was suffering a life-threatening cardiac arrest. But this time, they had a med phone in their home.
Dial his telephone number.
I just knew when I saw her, the condition she was in, it had to be done.
When the med phone case is opened, it automatically dials the hospital. Critical care nurse Angie Orlando took the call.
As soon as I answer the med phone, the information of who's calling and who's been trained on the med phone pops up on my top screen. So I was able to know that it was the Evans residence. We had practice drills, but I was really scared because I knew this was going to be real.
Okay, put her on the monitor, Mr. Evans. Okay, I can see now.
And I could tell that she was in a ventricular tachycardia, which is a life-threatening, irregular heartbeat, and she would die if it wasn't corrected and put in the normal rhythm. She was unresponsive and she wasn't breathing. She was almost dead.
The hospital staff and Ada's family had been thoroughly trained in the med phone. But this was the first time the portable electronic cardiac treatment system would actually be used.
She said, "Get back, we got to shock her right away, a defibrillator, right away."
Angie Orlando was about to try what had never been done before. Shock a heart back into beating through the phone lines with the patient still at home.
Is she breathing? Is she breathing?
She's gasping.
Do you know how to do CPR?
Yes.
Okay, you need to start CPR now.
A call was placed to 911 to get help for Ada and Roscoe at their home as soon as possible.
EMS, what is your emergency? Well, I'm calling to have an ambulance sent immediately to an address 335 William Place. And what is the emergency? The emergency is the patient's in VTAC. They're doing CPR on the patient. You said a patient is in, they doing CPR on the patient? Yes. Okay, ma'am, we'll get someone on over there. Thank you. All right.
Not being there was really hard, and I didn't know Roscoe. I had to rely on his word, and I had to have a lot of trust in him.
Mr. Evans, is she breathing?
Is she breathing?
Yes. She's breathing.
I thank the Lord for giving me strength, to hold up and do what had to be done.
Stay good. She's trying to move around. Should I let her?
Try and hold her still.
Be still, Sonny. They can't monitor with you moving around.
Mr. Evans, is the ambulance there yet?
No.
Okay, we'll stay on the line till they get there. She's looking good.
I could tell that her heart was coming back to a normal rhythm with a little irregularity, but it wasn't life-threatening.
How are you doing, Ada?
Much better.
You look good here. I'm just going to stay on with you till the ambulance gets there.
Less than 10 minutes after the call to 911, paramedic John King and his partner arrived on the scene.
When we got there, the nurse speaking through the med phone told us that the patient had been defibrillated, and that was a first. Time is crucial, and if it took us, say, 8 minutes to get there, even with CPR, our chance would be just about nil. So it's nice to see a situation like this where a patient's defibrillated promptly and then is totally oriented when we get there, has good blood pressure, feels fine. It's really incredible, and it's nice to see.
After I hung up the phone, she was in the ambulance on her way here. I took a couple minutes and went back, thought about it all, and everyone was like, "Oh, congratulations, you did well, it really worked," and That made me feel really good.
Cardiologist Antonella Quattromani is one of the main doctors responsible for the Medphone program at the hospital.
She basically died, and, if it wasn't for the box and the availability of the energy, she would not have made it. So it's a big, big success of technology and, of the human part, too.
Later on I thought about how close she was to death. She wasn't breathing, no heartbeat or anything, and then it went through my mind, she could have been gone.
Ada Evans beat the tremendous odds against surviving a sudden heart attack in the home. On July 7th, a heart donor was found for her. She's now well on her way to full recovery from the transplant. And she and Roscoe have another chance at life.
She's my best friend. She's everything. And had it not been for the med phone, she wouldn't be here today. So I thank the Lord for the med phone.
Early one Sunday afternoon, outside Baltimore, Maryland, a devastating accident occurred that would mark hundreds of lives with tragedy, but inspire many more by bringing out the best in a group of strangers. Most of the footage you will see was taped as the events unfolded on January 4th, 1987.
In the small town of Chase, Maryland, trains running through backyards are a fact of life.
You hear the trains all the time, and they're going up and down, and you just never think that anything like this can happen, you know, so close to home.
Some scientists figured out the amount of energy to hit this thing at 100 miles an hour. He said it was like a car going 2,500 miles an hour running into a brick wall.
Baltimore County 911. Yes, ma'am, I just saw a big explosion over by the railroad tracks on Eastern Avenue.
All of a sudden, these calls started coming in. The first couple were reporting an explosion, and we couldn't imagine what could have exploded down that area.
Rescue workers were launched immediately. But in the time it would take them to get to the site, only neighborhood residents who happened to be home would be able to help.
The calls after that were saying that it was a train derailment, and we just figured the worst. And it turned out to be the worst. It really did.
Suddenly there was a big jolt.
Next thing we know, we're just tumbling all over the place, baggage is falling.
It was just people flying all over the place. Just a mess, total mess.
An Amtrak train carrying more than 650 people had slammed into 3 Conrail locomotives that weren't supposed to be there.
There was people like yelling, you know, like help me, like that. So I, ran up to the train. I crawled through the window, and that's when I seen Jim Howard and Catherine Howard. He was, because his must have hit his face against the seat, and his eye was all swelled and everything like that. And she was pretty bad. She couldn't walk at all or anything like that. So we grabbed her, and we handed her out the window. Then we helped him out the window. See, everybody says don't move people to the accident, but then that diesel fuel and the fire and everything, you don't know if it's going to blow up or not or anything. So you don't think about it. You think, let's get the people off the train.
One of the first passengers to get out was Jennifer Ginsburg.
The car was tilted on its side, and I remember trying to get my wits together and actually sitting down on a seat for a minute. I was like, oh. And so I sat down, and I heard this voice, excuse me, could you please get up? And there was a man under the seat. You could see that there was a neighborhood, and I saw some people headed that way, so I went that way. And the first house I got to was Nancy's house.
We did what we could to make everybody comfortable, give them something to eat, trying to calm them down, because a lot of people just walked around like they were in shock. Nobody would have ever turned anybody down. In all the years I've lived here, most everybody's giving. But I guess we didn't realize how much we had to give till that particular day.
You had to do something, so you would grab people and just lay them down, and people were coming with their blankets and such and covering them up, and you're just trying to stop bleeding as best you could. It was just whatever needed to be done was done.
Minutes after the devastating accident, the first rescue workers began to arrive on the scene. One of the earliest was EMT Dennis Dembeck.
When I arrived at the scene and made our way through the woods up to the actual wreckage, I was pretty overwhelmed by the magnitude of destruction to the train. I've never seen a train derailment of that magnitude before.
Fire Captain Bob Hausman was one of the first to arrive.
The locomotive that was on fire, that was like somebody had taken a box of train parts and sprinkled them all over this. I mean, there was pieces no bigger than 2 or 3 feet. That was a big piece left of this locomotive.
We made entry into the top car. The top car was full of smoke and fire. We moved our way down through the car. It was extremely hot in there at that point in time. A lot of smoke. We couldn't see much of anything, but we could feel people grabbing at our boots, grabbing at her pants, grabbing at her hands. We could hear moaning of individuals.
It was such a jumble that we were trying to connect shoes and legs and feet together to see, who was who. It was just a mess.
Neighbors continued to help however they could.
We were helping some of the victims out of the railroad car, and one gentleman in particular, paramedics were handing him out, and he came out head first and grabbed his by his shoulders and everything. And as he came out, where we were going to grab him by his legs, there were none, or what was left of him. And this was very upsetting, to everybody involved. Basically my friends and the residents who were there. I don't know what happened to him. I presume he might have died. I don't know.
As many as 174 people were injured and needed treatment. The local emergency medical system was stretched to its limits.
It was an incident that just overwhelmed you. You couldn't imagine trying to go in and with this large number of casualties trying to do any type of treating. It was a rapid type assessment and moving on.
Gary Warren was one of the EMTs.
We were going ahead and utilizing triage tags, and the triage tags are determining the priority at which we should transport the patients. The medic unit would drive in, pick the patient up, drive out the back, and then be sent to an appropriate hospital.
Dr. James DeOrta helped put the disaster plan into effect at Franklin Square Hospital.
I think we had close to 112 doctors at the hospital within probably 40 minutes. The place was running at max to handle a volume of patients, which we had no idea. We had no idea how many were going to be coming.
One of my other crew members called to me knowing I was a paramedic and said, "We have a patient trapped behind the locomotive."
Fireman Walter Ambrose went to look after the 31-year-old man.
Basically, he was alert and oriented. He talked with me. I talked with him. So I told him, I promised him, I says, well, number one, I said, we're here. We're going to take care of you. I will get you out of here. I have never failed to get anybody out before. I've been doing this business for a long time. I will get you out of here. Just trust me, and we'll get it done.
The seriously injured were in the front few cars. The vast majority of passengers had walked away from the accident.
From the first car, which was underneath the top car, we extricated 2 men.
EMT Dembeck had become part of a crew being moved from place to place, wherever people were trapped.
We were taken to another person that was trapped in the bathroom. We couldn't see her, but we heard her voice. And from that point, then we knew that we had to work on an extrication process to get accessibility to her, just to see, if she was hurt. We were breaking our jaws of life, our Hearst tool cutters and things of this nature. We were having to go in and have these tools repaired at the scene, as well as pulling more heavy-duty equipment. And so that extrication took us probably at least 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half for the extrication of her.
As neighbor John Kerner watched, the woman trapped in the bathroom was finally pulled out of the wreckage.
I remember this one lady in particular, the way they had the morgue down this side of the track set up and the ambulances on this side. And I remember this one lady, they brought her out, and they lowered her down, and you're hoping she goes to the ambulance. They brought her down, and she went to the ambulance. And we almost cheered that, here after all this time, somebody's come out of this alive.
Night was falling, and they still had not managed to free the man pinned behind the locomotive.
Day went on and the hours went on. Fred, I could see that he was getting more frantic. I kept trying to calm him down while I was doing the work. And then at some point, probably 3 hours or so into the operation, and we're working this man, and I've got to know this man for 3 hours, the cars shifted. Because the cars shifted, a decision was made for us to evacuate the premises. We were given orders. I didn't want to do it at the time. To this day, I still don't want to have done it. But we were ordered out. They were afraid that the place was going to collapse, and Fred was left hanging there. It wasn't long then after that Fred expired.
15 others died in the wreck, but more than 650 people survived. The next day, the cleanup began. A year and a half later, the scars are still fresh in the minds of the people who tried to help.
I remember seeing one of the emergency workers pick up somebody's head off the tracks, and he just had him by the hair. And it was just this charred skeleton of a skull. That was all that was left. And at that point, I lost it.
It was sometime later, but it was finally I realized that no matter what I did to help the people that came into the house, there were people up there that died that I couldn't help.
Of most of the ones who died, they were alive when we got to them, and we didn't get them out. And for the handful of us that were deeply involved with these people, Amtrak was not a success, it was our failure. And we live with that. We've been living with that failure ever since Amtrak.
Special therapy groups were set up to try to help the rescue workers and neighborhood residents deal with their painful memories.
Talking about an intense emotional experience like that takes the steam out of it. It makes it less overwhelming.
Catherine and Jim Hauer returned to the area for the first time a year and a half after the tragic accident to visit Dan and Michelle Exter, the neighbors who had helped them.
It's real good to see you again. It's wonderful to have this opportunity to be able to say thank you to Michelle and Dan, and we just are really grateful and thankful.
Dan Exter may not think of himself as a hero, and he has to view himself however he wants to. In our minds, he's an absolute hero.
This is Hallie Catherine.
See what you helped us do, Dan?
Yeah. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't remember the accident. The impact is something that I never want to feel ever again. And I spent my life avoiding that, which is why I won't fly now. I don't ride in the train. And I like to stick as close to ground as possible and go as slow as I can.
Want to go in the house?
I don't know how you can do it. I can't forget when the train hit and how much it hurt.
Life just isn't the same anymore. We're affected in all ways, pretty much. It's just that once you go through a crash of that nature, when you get that close to not being around, you look at life a little differently.
Jennifer Ginsburg also came back to visit Nancy Tharp, the woman who had taken her in after the crash.
I really can't explain it, but I'm really thankful because what it did for me was it made me think about my life and to be glad that I was alive and to make the most of what I have in life.
Knowing that, so many people, their lives were really changed, and it happened to happen in our neighborhood. I wouldn't want our neighborhood to remember as that's where my son, daughter, wife died. I'd rather be remembered, that's where people at least tried to help us.
We owe it to our children to prepare them to handle whatever serious emergencies they might have to face. Shortly before dawn on December 14th, 1988, in Arlington, Texas, one family found out just how important that preparation can be.
Actors have helped us reconstruct the nightmarish events that took place inside the Hollingsworth house that night. But the 911 call you will hear is the actual call that went out just before dawn.
I felt like, is this the end? Is this the end of me, my family? If it had to happen to anybody in the world, why pick us?
8-year-old Laura Hollingsworth was staying at her father's house for the weekend. She and her father, Dale, were asleep in the back bedroom. Her 14-year-old brother, Buddy, was in the second bedroom down the hall.
heard this kaboom kabang. I don't know what's happening. I'm halfway asleep. I think this is a dream.
Freeze. Don't anybody move.
There's a guy in front of us with a gun, and then when I realize it's real, I'm scared.
Don't look at me. Put your head in the pillow.
Do it, Laura.
Get up.
I didn't see anything else. I just heard.
Come on. I want your wallet. Don't you turn around. And don't look at me. You just go straight.
Buddy, don't do anything, okay? Just stand there being robbed.
Shut up.
Next thing I hear is them getting a knife out of the kitchen drawer.
I want you to cut the phone cord.
I'm terrified. I was thinking he's gonna do something horrible.
Leo! I got the stuff!
He had a partner that he was talking about.
My friend Leo, he has a shotgun. He will blow your head off. All right, nobody move. It's Freddy Krueger time.
Daddy! I screamed for Daddy and I couldn't hear him, so I thought he was dead. And I ran in there and I saw them scuffling. Then I really realized that I knew the smartest thing I had to do.
There was one phone in the kitchen where the line had not been cut.
Kind of picked up the phone. I was shaking. I dialed 911 and I heard the lady come on the telephone.
Arlington Emergency.
There's somebody in my house and we live on Justin. What's the number of it?
I got your address. Somebody's in your house?
Yes, and he just broke in with a gun and he wanted my father's money. And it's, what's the number?
I have your address. Is that man still there?
Yes, the guy with the gun.
Okay, who is he, white, black, or Hispanic?
What's his name?
Is he white, black, or Hispanic?
What? He's white.
Okay, I have police on the way.
Okay.
Stay on the phone.
Okay.
Operator Valerie Nelson took the call.
This is basically the first time I've had a call that really was in progress where somebody's life was in danger.
Burglary in progress. 11 Justin Lynn Street. There is a man in the house with a gun at this time.
It's like, God, let everything work real fast. Don't let me lose this little girl. I need her. I need all the information. Where's your father?
He's in there with a gun. My brother has a gun and a knife.
Who has a knife?
My brother.
Your brother has a knife?
Yes, he came in here he was gonna kill my father if he didn't tell him where his wallet was.
312-331 additional shows the subject that's broken into the house will be the son.
She says, my brother broke into the house. So you're trying to clarify everything. Who's got the guy?
My dad.
Your father has... Honey, it's okay. What's going on?
He's got a knife.
Your brother?
No, the guy. Please.
If I could have, I would have jumped through the phone to help her.
Oh, God. Buddy!
Okay, it's okay, honey. I got police on the way. Is this other man with your brother?
No, he's my father. Please.
Wait, okay, honey. I have help on the way. Who has... Okay, I heard a shot.
Oh, he killed the guy.
Okay, who shot who? Your father shot who? Honey, can you tell me who got shot?
Shot the guy who came in here.
Your father shot the burglar?
No, Buddy did.
Your brother? There's been a shooting.
He shot my dad, too.
We have ambulance.
Quick, all three of them are hurt.
Where's the burglar?
He's in there. He's dead. My brother says he needs help.
I have police and ambulance, honey. I have everybody on the way.
He has him on the way. Just hold it, buddy.
When we continue.
We'll try to get the little girl to run out the front door.
What was that?
334, shots fired. Get some more help out here.
Within 3 minutes, Officer Keith Carson was on the scene.
At first, we thought it was a domestic disturbance, and it was the brother and the father that was fighting. If shots are fired or anything like that, we try to come up blacked out where they can't see us. It's for the officer's own protection. You can see someone was running across the front of the house.
There's a guy out front. They dropped the stone in that car.
What's he saying about the car outside?
The guy's in the car out front, and he has a sawed-off shotgun.
There's a guy outside in the car with a shotgun?
Yes.
312, we've been advised there's a subject in a car out front with a shotgun. Do you see him at this time?
Negative.
What kind of car is it? Do you know?
No.
Okay. All right.
I brought us in school, and it seems so easy.
I know, honey. You're doing a wonderful job.
312, complainant is a small child. She's unaware of what kind of vehicle he's in.
We'll try to get the little girl to run out the front door.
Police are near there, honey, okay?
My dad is covered with blood.
Yes, your brother's still inside the house, right?
Yes,
What was that?
334, shots fired. Get some more help out here.
What was that?
That was my brother.
Doing what?
Don't fire again, buddy. Don't fire again, buddy.
Who's in the house?
My brother, he just did that to the guy.
What guy?
The guy that's outside.
Little girl? He's shooting. Listen to me.
Yes?
Is your brother shooting the gun again?
He just did it, I don't know why.
I need him to go to the phone. Okay.
Shut it off.
Okay, he's going a little bit crazy right now. I need your help. The police are outside. Can you go to the door?
No.
Honey, the policeman is outside. Okay? It's the good people outside. Tell Buddy to come to the phone.
Buddy, she wants you at the phone, please. Here.
Okay.
Hello?
Buddy?
Yeah?
Where's the gun?
I did.
Where's the gun?
It's in the floor.
It's on the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want you to stay with me on the phone, okay?
Shut the door.
No, don't lock the front door. I need you to open the door.
312, the brother that did the shooting is now on the phone with call tank.
Tell him that we need to throw down his gun and come out the front door and he will not be hurt.
Buddy?
Yes?
The policeman wants you to come to the front door.
But it's not a policeman.
It is a policeman. Trust me. I'm talking to him.
The car out front.
The car is down the street. They want to help you and your father, and they cannot get an ambulance in there until you go to the door because you had the gun. They're afraid of you right now. He's almost hysterical.
Can I talk? I'm scared. My daddy's bleeding. He's not talking.
He's bleeding. He needs help. Will you open the door?
Less than 13 minutes after the call began, the door was finally open.
Police officer, freeze! Put your hands up! Turn around!
Buddy eventually believed us, and he came out the front door. Still not knowing that he had just saved his father's life, we went through regular procedures as if he was a suspect and handcuffed him.
Is there anybody else in the house? My sister Laura.
Is the police?
I'm right here. I'm on the telephone.
Come on out here, little girl, okay?
Okay.
Is that the policeman, Laura? Bye.
Buddy was released almost immediately. Dale was taken to the hospital for treatment of knife wounds inflicted by the 18-year-old burglar. His accomplice was never found.
What a call, was basically my first reaction. If I had those calls every day, no, I could not do this job.
When all of this was over, I knew everybody was okay. My dad was in the hospital. I knew he was going to be all right. I felt kind of weird, and I had a million things running through my mind. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy and stuff because he's dead. If we didn't do what we did, I don't think we would really be here today as a family, or maybe not even be here at all.
She's the key to the whole success of this situation, staying on the phone, giving all that information. It could have meant Buddy's life. The officer outside could see him. Why he didn't shoot, I don't know. I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Even 4 months later, that night is still not over for the Hollingsworth family. The scars on Dale's body are visible, and memories of the tragic events will not go away.
The duplex stands empty now. Dale and his family never slept there again. They're trying to move on with their lives.
I literally didn't own anything of value that I would miss more than a half a minute if he took it off. I get upset about thinking about that, even now. You know, it's like I got all cut up and all that, but I'm thinking, geez, Benise, you know, I didn't want my kid to kill somebody.
I think for the rest of my life, I'll always remember the day that this happened. And I'm not sure. I guess I'll depend on the situation that's going on at the time, if I feel happy that we're alive or that I feel sad because it happened.
What are we going to do after we color your bangs? Can we do anything else to your hair here, you think?
During the week, Laura lives with her mother, Nancy Hollingsworth.
Laura would come home with a lot of information about 911. She knew certainly a lot more about it than I did, but we had discussed it to not protect her, maybe just to arm her, to be prepared for in case it would ever happen to her.
The week before that, my teacher had been talking to us about it, just briefly after and before lunch, about how important it was, if you needed to use it, to use it.
And Laura realized that dialing 911 was easy, but trying to come up with the facts and stay there and watch it all and be brave and not hide in the closet, that was the hard part. I get these calls every day, 7 days a week. You just learn to not get emotionally involved at the time. But once I met them, it put a whole new aspect to the call. You realize how close they came to losing it all.
I'm so glad we finally met.
The feeling that went through me at the time was, hey, I know this lady. You know, I've never met her. I've talked to her, but it's like, I know this lady.
I thought she would look like my mom and everything. She sounded like my mom because she told me what to do. She said everything's okay. My mom usually does that too.
You got a nice family. But what do you think?
If Buddy hadn't intervened, if Laura hadn't called 911, if the lady had not known how to do her job, I would be dead. And I feel my children would be too.
I say that at the end of this story was happy ending. We all lived happily ever after.
Arlington Emergency.